Welcome back to Radio Ryan.
Woo!
We're here in the studio for our first episode of Season 3. And before we get into anything with, our show, there's some, as I'm sure you all know, some pressing political news with the election that just occurred.
Oh.
In the presidential election.
Course. Yeah.
So, we at Radio Ryan, turns out, have the very first update and the first look at the next president of the United States. Are you ready?
Exclusive. It leaked.
Are you ready?
Yes, I think I'm ready.
The next president of the United States of America, turns out, is Jimmy Carter. He's won it again. There was a challenger, but you can't stand up against... I've got you covered, boys. Don't worry. Jimmy Carter, President of the United States, officially endorsed by Radio Ryan.
Peanuts for all.
Glad to have you, Jimmy.
One plucky old peanut farmer who worked on a nuclear submarine.
I always said, if a president ever invents peanut butter, I'll vote for him. And look at what happened. Here we are in Jimmy Carter's America, and boy is it lovely.
And if you have a peanut allergy, too bad.
Yeah, sorry, you got to get out of here.
That's a Canadian thing.
Right. Yeah. Well, here we are in our new post-Carterian world. Speaking of presidents, did you know 4 U.S. presidents have been assassinated?
I did, unfortunately, know that.
Which brings us to tonight's topic, presidential assassinations.
Oh boy. Okay.
Now, Tyler, I don't know if you know this, but some people don't like the president.
What?
I know, Jimmy's a great guy, peanut butter and Christianity, but, some people just...
Peanut Butter and Christianity is a good song name.
It's a good song name.
It's also, I believe, Paula Dean's favorite TV show.
The problem is that our president wasn't as non-controversial as Jimmy Carter. One time we had this guy with the kooky idea to end slavery.
Oh.
And boy, did that not sit well with some people.
That's unfortunate.
Mr. Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president of the United States from, Harrison, do you know? 1861 to 1865. Thank you.
When he was president? Yeah.
Thank you for playing.
Born in a log cabin.
History major. Now, do you know Tyler? Is that your name?
I've been trying different names. That's the one I'm using right now.
Okay. He was assassinated. Abraham Lincoln.
God, that sucks.
As we do here on Radio Ryan with our award-winning story time. Let us begin by you telling us what you know of the Abraham Lincoln assassination.
Oh, okay. So yeah, obviously. So, him and his wife were like, you know what, this presidency stuff is pretty fun, but how about a play tonight? And then he was like, God, shoot me. And, she was like, okay, listen, we gotta go. So he was like, fine, I'll go to the play, still shoot me. So, they go to the theater, Ford Theater.
Uh-huh.
Named, of course, after Gerald R. Ford.
Correct.
And they go to see the play, and it's so bad that a guy crawls up to the booth, and he's like, I can't take it anymore. I'm sure he can't take it anymore. Takes out Lincoln. It's very sad. Then he jumps off, shouts like, Tyrannosaurus Rex, and he breaks his leg, and he sprints out of the theater. By the way, if you have a broken leg, you're sprinting out of a theater, what the hell were you doing at this play?
Right.
Like, why, you should be running track. Or not assassinating presidents.
Mm-hmm.
So they eventually find him, I think, and they kill him in a barn or something.
Right.
Which is a pretty unceremonious end for a guy who just shot Lincoln. But he probably just shouldn't have shot him in the first place.
Right. So, well, you were almost right on all of that.
Okay.
So Abraham Lincoln did in fact go to a play. He and his wife Mary Todd went to see My American Cousin, which was apparently a riot.
Really?
Later on, spoilers, but when John Wilkes Booth shoots Lincoln in the head, he timed it so that he shot Lincoln during the loudest laugh in the crowd.
Really?
Because it was supposed to be a hilarious play.
Wow,
Real
that
jerk
is
move.
Yeah, also dumb move because no matter how hard you laugh, if your laugh obscures a gunshot, you have a problem.
Yeah.
Also, it was 1865, so the guns were cannons you held in your hand, and so everyone heard it.
Yeah, plus it doesn't emit like a giant puff of smoke.
Right.
You would think that would
And
probably
and it's not
alarm.
like, oh, you know what I'll do is I'll wait till everyone laughs, then I'll shoot my really loud gun that will emit smoke, and then leap off the balcony onto the stage. That'll keep a low profile.
I gotta say, I think that kind of brought the mood down.
Right, yeah. So, the guy who assassinated Lincoln was John Wilkes Booth.
Real jerk.
Real jerk. Top 10 jerk.
It goes, yeah. His brother, notorious not jerk.
Right, so the funny thing about John Wilkes Booth is he was like a fairly well-known actor. It would be like...
I didn't know he was like well known.
He was pretty well known, and he came from like an acting family, and his brother was a bit more famous, I think Edwin Booth.
Yeah.
And Edwin Booth, funny story, once pulled Lincoln's son off of some train tracks.
Oh.
And was like, hey Lincoln, I saved your son. And Lincoln's like, cool, your family is allowed near me at any time.
Edwin Booth is like the Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, imagine if Alec Baldwin's brother was
Billy Baldwin.
Imagine if Billy Baldwin shot the president.
Like, honest, after he was in Biodome, I don't, like, he was just clearly at such a career, like, worst part of that, like, he was pretty desperate, so I could buy it.
Right. But it would be well known enough where you were like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Billy Baldwin killed the... Not like, oh my god, Leonardo DiCaprio killed the president, but Billy Baldwin shot the president.
Yeah, poor Steven, poor Alec.
Right.
Probably poor person who just got shot, most especially.
Poor Jimmy, but,
Damn.
And
wait, maybe Stephen Baldwin had a peanut allergy. That could be why.
That's true. That's true. Again, Billy Baldwin did not shoot President Jimmy Carter.
Right, it was Stephen.
Right, no. John Wilkes Booth shot Abraham Lincoln.
Okay.
And so basically, Booth walked in, shot Lincoln in the back of the head, and he had been planning this because Booth was like a real jerk. Again, top 10 jerk because he was like, why did Lincoln free the slaves? Now all the black people have rights, and I hate that.
I'm so glad I have never met this man.
I know. He seems like a real bad guy.
Ugh, bet he doesn't even recycle.
Then this guy Rathbone, who was chilling in the box with Lincoln. We'll swing it over to our producer, noted history major, Radio Harrison.
Woo!
Radio Harrison, can you tell us a bit about Rathbone?
Rathbone?
Yeah.
So, from what I know, he was a guy in the booth with Lincoln. I believe Booth stabbed him, or like he sliced him up a bit, and then he like jumped. I know more about it, but not about Rathbone, but about other stuff.
Thank you. It was a U.S. Army major who was also with the box.
Didn't know he stabbed
the
the guy.
box.
Jesus.
Yeah. So basically, Rathbone hears see the gun smoke and turns around, and Booth yells "Freedom!" which is literally what Lincoln was known for. Then Rathbone was like, "Hey, you just shot my guy, the President of the United States." And so he tried to like fight Booth. Booth pulled out a knife, stabbed Rathbone in the left forearm, and then Rathbone was like grabbing at Booth, and then like Booth was gonna like kind of like climb down from the box. Rathbone basically threw him. He was like,
oh, so he didn't jump, he threw him.
Well, he was gonna jump, but Rathbone made it not a good jump, and so his left spur, because everyone had riding spurs on their boots at the time, got caught on like a flag thing. Very, very universal, saying you just shot the president, we're gonna break your leg on a flag. America. Booth falls out of the box and lands badly on his left foot, which he did break. People thought he was part of the play. Because
what an immersive play experience.
Imagine you're watching a movie and suddenly you hear a gunshot and Billy Baldwin runs across the stage. You're like, oh, Billy Baldwin's in this movie.
Wow, it's an ultimate stereo sound.
It's a weird play.
That's what Blu-ray does.
But then Booth yells, "Sic semper tyrannis," which is Virginia's state motto, by the way.
Is it still its same motto?
No, I think Virginia is live free or die.
That's New Hampshire.
Hardcore for New Hampshire.
I guess, yeah.
basically he was like, this is what happens to tyrants who give people rights. And then most people were like, oh, I heard that. But then Booth was like, no, I only yelled Sic Semper, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, we're going to trust your
That just
word,
means,
buddy.
thus always.
See, to be honest, let's say he didn't say that, and he like I would have said he said something super embarrassing. Like I would have said he was like, "Oops," and he like, what's he gonna do? Say that he didn't? He just killed the president. We don't trust you.
Ouchie,
you know?
my foot.
Yeah.
He said Sic Semper, and
Mommy,
then
help.
either the South is revenge for the South, or the South shall be free. 2 witnesses remember these 2 drunk guys in the back. Remember Booth yelling, "I have done it," which no, he didn't.
Yeah.
Billy Baldwin did not yell, "I did it."
What a lazy thing to yell.
Immediately after, another U.S. major, this was a military star-studded play, just jumped out of the front row and ran after Booth. And people were yelling. Booth ran out and on the way stabbed the orchestra leader, which is like...
What a jerk.
I guess he was stopping Booth, but the guy runs an orchestra. He's not gonna... He was probably like, "Hey, young man, stop," and Booth stabbed him.
What's he gonna do, like compose a battle
You
theme?
can just shove him out of the way.
Jesus. Overkill, literally.
But Booth had a man waiting with a horse, and so Booth was able to sort of get on the horse and flee.
Or get in the horse.
He did.
No, which is a very, very good hiding spot.
Open up.
It's a yeah.
Now there were, this was actually, I don't know if you know this, part of a conspiracy. There were supposed to be 3 assassinations. They were supposed to kill Lincoln, the vice president, and Secretary of State William H. Seward.
Really? They were gonna kill Hannibal Hamlin?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, he wasn't vice president.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh wait, he wasn't?
No, it was
Andrew
Andrew
Johnson.
Johnson.
Oh, then who was Hannibal Hamlin?
He was the first vice president of Lincoln.
Okay. No, my bad.
I'm sure someone's tried to kill him.
Probably. Just for being
But both of those failed. One of them just didn't do it and was like, "I'm just not going to kill the vice president." And the other guy attacked the Secretary of State, but lost.
How did he attack him? He just tried to punch him?
He ran at him with a knife, I believe, and the
Wow.
Secretary of State said, "Whatever," and and didn't do anything.
Pretty ineffective way.
They may have tried to kill Grant.
Yeah, they did. They did a lot of. They really thought it would work.
Yeah. Grant was a general, so
there was a lot of almost killing.
Yeah, unfortunately, the one person that did get shot was our president. If anyone can hear it, there's a stampede of wildebeest outside our studio.
Yes, and it's it's half that, then it's
Mufasa.
yeah. They're doing
Yeah.
a sort of like funeral march for Lincoln
Right.
as we speak. Sort
Yeah.
of. It's very festive, which you wouldn't expect for funeral march.
Right. So Booth flees. Eventually, Booth is tracked down into a barn. And
What a loser!
Right, and he is.
Barnes.
They're like, "Hey, let's take him alive." It was like when they were like, "Hey, Bin Laden, we're gonna bring you in alive.
Winky wink.
If you don't pose a threat, in which case our soldiers with machine guns will make a split-second decision and shoot you." So basically, the U.S. Marshals track down Booth, and they're like, "Come on out," and then Booth's like, "LOL, no." So he's hiding in a barn. The soldiers, real ballers, were like, "We're not gonna wait," and they set the barn on fire. And they were like, "You either come out, or you die in a barn fire."
Pretty sick.
Booth ran out the back door, and he was shot anyways.
So he died.
He died.
Oh
Yeah.
damn.
He's not still current.
No, he's not. He's passed on.
Because if he was still around, it would have been like, "Why, bro?"
Right. Yeah.
And like he probably would have.
No, he fled to a barn, and the barn was lit on fire, and then they shot him.
You know what? Too bad.
Honestly, awesome.
Pretty awesome.
Pretty cool way to
take him out.
to
I
take
gotta
him out,
say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, that may seem the end of it, right?
Right. Oh, but then his ghost and Lincoln's goat fight.
Right.
I said goat instead
What?
of ghost.
What?
But I would still watch it.
What the? No. What?
Okay.
Lincoln, a notoriously good wrestler.
Yeah, Lincoln is the king of
Presidential wrestling.
presidential wrestling. But did you know that not all people believe that this is the end of the story?
So some people think like he didn't die.
No.
Is that what you're implying?
No.
Oh.
No. Everyone is aware.
Okay.
But
That's a conspiracy.
some people believe that there was a plot to kidnap Lincoln.
Kidnap Lincoln?
Yeah.
Really?
That Booth wasn't supposed to kill him. That they were going to kidnap the president.
Like for ransom or like?
I don't know.
Huh. Well.
But that's an interesting story.
It is an interesting story.
Because how do you kidnap a president?
Okay. To be fair, Nicolas Cage did do it in the second National Treasure movie, so it's possible.
Which was about the Lincoln assassination.
Right.
It is. So, if Nicolas Cage can do it, another well-known actor, I don't
Do you
see
think
why.
Billy Baldwin could do it?
I think Alec could do it. I
Alec
don't think
could
Steven
do
could
it,
do
yeah.
it. Yeah.
I think the Baldwin family could kidnap a president if that president lived in the 1860s, and so did they.
Right.
You're assuming that the Baldwins didn't. Like, I think Alec is probably from some part of the 1800s.
I can't disagree with that fact.
Alec Baldwin doesn't age, he just grows taller and angrier.
At this point, he's just going to be like the tallest and the angriest.
So final thoughts on the assassination of U.S. President Abraham Lincoln.
You know what?
Real jerk move.
It's very sad. It's very interesting, but it's very sad. I wish that in order to promote his own work, he didn't go kill a president. He just
Right.
picked better plays. Like he wasn't just such a jerk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just do better.
It's just one of those things where, like, there's no real conspiracy to it. Like, we sort of know what
It's pretty
happened.
cut and dry.
We know what happened. We know stuff could have gone differently if, Lincoln had guards.
Also, do you
Right.
think Mary Todd still liked the play, or like
You think the play
I don't think
besides that?
right
thing,
the play people came up to her like the week after and they're like, we're so sorry for your loss, Mrs. President, but like I hope you enjoyed the
we'd
production.
love
Did you like
love
it?
a review.
Yeah.
I know
If you want, you can come back to the theater and we'll just pick up.
Yeah.
Right before.
I think it's what he would have wanted.
I think you didn't catch one of the funniest parts because your husband was being murdered.
Yeah.
But you should really listen
I
to it.
could have sworn he was like, "Oh, this is my favorite." Oh.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then,
Those are his last words.
Yeah.
Actually.
He was like, "Oh, this is my favorite."
He said, "This play is." Actually, we have.
This play is rad.
Yeah.
And then he died.
That was actually professional Abraham Lincoln impersonator.
Now I am the president of... hey, John.
A resident history major. Do you? There's been a lot of debate in the academia world, the world
Yes.
of academics.
Yes.
Over maybe if Lincoln isn't assassinated, Reconstruction goes a lot better, and that has a ripple effect on civil rights and American history. Comment?
From a historical perspective, Andrew Johnson, the president after, was the worst president.
Thank you. So
Also,
moving on.
Question: why was Andrew Johnson his vice president since they were so different?
So, may I read it, Ryan?
Yeah, sure.
So, basically, what we think of as vice presidents now is not what they were then. They were just sort of like the guy who, like, he's there, but you don't really talk to him. They were really, like, nothing.
Okay.
So they picked Andrew Johnson because he was one of the few Democrats who didn't secede.
Okay.
So he's sort of seen as this unifying figure, even though he was a real bad racist and, like, no one liked him.
Gotcha.
So, and he was sort of like, people didn't know how bad of a racist he was until he became president. He, like, so, like, some of the presidents after Jimmy Carter, probably racist.
Well, how could we know?
We couldn't know, but let's
Right.
just assume...
Unless they had like a
Let's just
Twitter
assume
account.
one's elected in, 2016.
Right.
Notorious racist.
Uh-huh.
Let's just say.
Andrew Johnson would be the worst racist since before him. So yeah.
Interesting. Thank you for that input. We'll keep turning to our historical guy, radio and comparison, greatest producer in podcast history. Moving on, Tyler, do you know who was assassinated after Abraham Lincoln?
So I know after Lincoln, they were like, okay, we killed a president, so now we need to kill like another big American figure. So like a popular cartoon character like Garfield. So they had to be like,
Yes.
in order to cut off the lasagna for everyone else, they had to be like,
Garfield
this is gonna be
was
the worst Monday of your
assassinated.
life.
So in 1881, which is like 20 less than 20 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a short amount of time.
It's pretty fresh.
At that point, you're like, this is a trend, like every 3 presidents
Yeah.
You know? This is a much less publicized assassination because it is like the most straightforward assassination in the books.
So there's no like conspiracy about the Garfield assassination.
Not really. James Garfield was just kind of like.
I think it was Odie, by the way.
What?
Nothing.
Oh, you think Odie the dog?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving forward. So basically, the president was like getting off a train.
Okay.
And it was like, back to being president, and like, they didn't. The Secret Service wasn't really a thing, and so they just had like a couple of guys hanging out with the president. But at that point, seeing the president was like seeing like the president of Wheaton College. Like if Dennis Hanna was just writing this shit. Oh, hey Dennis.
It just wasn't
Oh,
interesting.
hey, what's going on? It was a little more pompous than that, but he just gets off a train and some guy comes up and is like, I don't like you, bam, bam. Shoots him.
Damn.
Luckily enough, some guy right nearby pulled out a cane and beat the guy in the face with it.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Wow, good
and
for
then
him.
they had to, like, the police had to stop the crowd from murdering the dude that murdered Garfield, which is cool to be like, America, we all get together, but not cool when it's like we get together to murder a guy.
Didn't Andrew Jackson like? No, not him. Some dude in Congress like almost beat another dude in Congress with a cane or something.
Yeah, on the Senate floor.
So it might have been that guy. You never
Yeah,
know.
maybe he was around.
That's a crazy story.
Yeah, so it's not a big thing. The dude that shot him, Charles Guetta, he was like a low-level politician, the Billy Baldwin of politics, you could say.
Oh, okay.
He had been passed over to be ambassador of France.
Oh.
James Garfield was like, no, Guetta, I'm going to choose your brother Alec for ambassador of France, and so...
So that's like Chris Christie, like getting
Right.
mad because he wasn't picked for anything.
And Charles Guiteau just shot him. He's like,
Wow.
dang.
That is a
Charles Godot from Bell Biv.
At his trial,
Poison.
people were like, oh, he has mental health problems and he has syphilis in his brain, and the court was like, okay, and then they hung him. So
You know what? That's a pretty anticlimactic way for that to...
not much you can do at
No.
that point. If you shot the president, you're probably gonna die.
No, I kind of wish like they let him go for a bit just so that he could like find a barn and then like so they could
Right,
do that
yeah.
again.
They
Well,
just
like,
had a group around him like steering him.
They're
You
like,
wish-
oh no, stop, come back.
You wish they hunted him?
No, I
No.
wish that he found a cooler location to get caught in.
Yeah, he was caught immediately because he was right there.
He didn't even try. Like a
Yeah.
dude with a cane was like, bam. So, you know. You think a dude with a cane could have stopped John Wilkes Booth?
So,
Yeah, that's what sort of what happened.
Yeah.
20 years later,
Ah!
again,
Stop
this is our
doing this!
third president in 60 years. You could have been born in 1860. You would have been 5 years old when Lincoln was assassinated, 21 when Garfield was assassinated, and 41 when McKinley was assassinated. That's 3 presidents dead in your lifetime. That stinks. For
that
you,
would suck.
fictional man. The next one, the assassination of President William McKinley, is pretty also simple. Basically, he was at like a rally. It was like a exposition type of thing,
Okay.
kind of like the Met Gala.
Okay.
Just hanging
He was just
with
giving
some
speeches and stuff.
some bros, and he was like getting a drink or whatever, and then Leon Sologos, who is an anarchist. Side note: nobody's an anarchist anymore. Anarchist is such a cool thing to be when you're not murdering presidents.
Yeah, anarchist is more of like an aesthetic now than
Right,
it's
yeah.
like a belief system.
I just love the idea of a dude in like a red hoodie and a spray can. He's like, "Government sucks, man," and then you're like, "What's your plan?" And he's
Yeah.
like, graffiti this wall."
Yeah, I feel like now it's more like birds aren't real. Don't believe them.
Yeah.
You know, because they're not. Don't
Right.
act like they are.
We are an anti-bird podcast.
Yeah.
But William McKinley was basically the guy came up to him and was like, "Hey, can I shake your hand?" And McKinley was like, "Oh, sure." And then he got shot instead.
What he didn't even want to walk up and shoot him. He was like, "Let me shake your hand."
Right. He was like,
That You know what?
What's the interesting thing?
All-time jerk move.
That is.
If you look at the times of like when the deaths were after they were shot, I think it's that Garfield died 11 weeks after he was shot or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a long time.
McKinley was thought to have recovered. He was like, "Oh, I'll go and I'll be okay," but he died 8 days later.
Oof.
Yeah. Garfield died 11 weeks later.
He may have been the one where the doctors sort of killed him.
Right.
Yeah, one of them, like, the doctors made it way worse.
They were just like, I don't know, let's poke our fingers in.
It's like
That's squishy.
It's like the very early medicine thing of like, I don't know, give him cocaine and see if that'll stop the ghost from calling to him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I believe it was Garfield or McKinley but probably Garfield because he was 11 weeks. McKinley died after 8 days of just sort of,
Damn.
which is unfortunate.
I cannot, you know what? Out of all of these, I gotta say the one that I'm most mad at is the one who shot McKinley just for the handshake thing. That is such a jerk move.
The thing with McKinley is that his assassin was so quickly arrested and literally like almost as soon as he shot him, he was beaten nearly to death. Like literally everyone around him just started beating the crap out of him.
That tends to be a common theme here.
Yes, it does.
He killed him. Get him.
And people thought that he would not survive to stand trial because he was beaten so badly. And they weren't like, we're not going to give him to the doctor. I mean, he shot McKinley.
We don't want to help this
So they went to court and it was a 2-day trial.
Really?
You know how O.J. Simpson was on trial for like 3 years or whatever?
Yeah.
The guy who shot William McKinley was literally like, was on the stand and they said, why'd you shoot McKinley? And he was like, I refuse to defend myself. And they're like, well, you're going to go to the electric chair tomorrow. Oh. And like less than a month later, he was zapped.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Why didn't they ask him about... They should have asked him about the handshake thing.
Right.
Like, they should have been like, not only why'd you shoot him, why did you shake his hand, you monster? Like, that is so unnecessary. What a petty...
The article, the Radio Ryanpedia article, says that his actions were politically motivated, although it remains unclear what outcome, if any, he believed the shooting would yield, which is an ultimate professional burn. You love when
even Wikipedia is
like,
the
this
guy
is like,
what was he doing?
It's like, this is a strange thing for him to do.
It's like the cold and clinical way.
It's like when they they'll give a description of movies when you scroll through TV, and sometimes they'll just be like, "This is a bad movie."
Yeah.
You ever seen that as a weird?
No, I have, and it's
just
always
don't watch it.
It
Why
gives
are
me
you
so
showing
much
it?
joy. Yeah.
After McKinley's assassination, Congress was like, we should probably start protecting these guys. So
it took 3 of them.
They took a service of agents that had been tasked with hunting down counterfeit bills, which I assume at that point was like 13 dudes in suits, like riding on horseback over somebody's house and be like, hey, stop printing money. And the guy was like, you caught me. They're like, hey, nerds, you protect the president now. And that's how the Secret Service started to protect the president.
Stop printing fake money. Can I interest you in a nice $3 bill to make this go away?
Now, any last thoughts on the assassination of William McKinley?
Rip in peace. I hope someone's shaking your hand in heaven.
It's very sad, but Teddy Roosevelt became president because of it.
That's true.
That is true.
We are a pro Ted podcast.
But William McKinley, he's also where we got the high school from Glee named after.
Oh, so then I don't feel as bad about this anymore.
You gonna blame him for that?
No, but I wish that didn't exist because of him.
You know that their fun historical fact.
Go for it.
That no president, except for Grant, served 2 consecutive terms from Andrew Jackson to Woodrow Wilson, which is almost a 100-year period.
Really?
That sucks.
Damn,
they either died or weren't reelected.
Or they weren't reelected because they died.
Yeah. That did happen for a few. That did happen.
That's a bummer. That is a real shame.
Now, bringing it around to something we covered last season in Radio Ryan, or season 1 actually.
Oh.
The real OGs.
Something that remains unsolved. The assassination of John F. Kennedy. Tell me what you know, Tyler.
What don't I know?
Where were you?
That sounds like I did it. I didn't do it.
Where were you in 1963 when you were negative 37?
I was getting a milkshake, damn it.
Where were you? Where are the bodies?
So, well, we know where his body is. But so what I know about this is that John F. Kennedy, he stopped by in Dallas, Texas, and he was like, "It's a good day to drive in a car in front of a lot of people," and everyone else agreed. So he went in the car with his wife, and then I think the governor of Texas and his wife, unless I'm wrong, and they were driving down the street, and then all of a sudden it went terrible because this no good son of a gun by the name of Lee Harvey Oswald, he was like, you know what? I hate that car and the guy in it. So he shot at it, and unfortunately it led to him dying, which was very sad and very graphic. And they caught him, but then another guy, Jack Ruby, was like, "No, you didn't, because I did." And then he shot him, and he was dead. And really, the moral of the story is that I think Jack Ruby and cockroaches are the only people to survive the nuclear apocalypse, apparently. So, there you go.
Interesting.
Well,
Recap. Kind of what happened.
Pretty much. Exactly what happened.
So basically, we'll spend the most time on this one because it's really the controversial one. So, JFK, Harrison, would you say noted Democrat?
yeah, he's like, when people think of like Democrats in the sense of like handsome, they think of JFK.
Right. That's
Him and Obama.
Right. Yeah. That handsome man from Chicago.
Usually people aren't like Truman. But they're like, JFK is like, notoriously handsome.
Somebody was like, Truman, let's put him on the dime, you know?
Right.
He's not on the dime.
Truman's
Oh, is that
not on-
FDR?
That's Eisenhower.
Eisenhower's at the time?
Yeah,
Wait,
Eisenhower.
I thought
It was, like,
Washington was...
Dwight.
I was certain that
Oh,
was Truman.
Get it.
Are you
And then
sure?
Put him on the dime.
Does anyone have a dime?
I'm going to look
No,
up.
I'm
No, who's on the dime?
Okay.
Let's look it up.
Moving forward.
Eisenhower.
No.
I know all of the currencies.
No. Oh, we were both wrong. It's FDR. Never mind.
Whatever. What's Eisenhower on?
Nothing.
Moving
He's on
forward.
something.
Moving forward from this currency debate.
It's current events.
So noted Democrat JFK was like sitting in his office, chilling out, and he had a meeting with his brother RFK, also assassinated. Sadly.
Rip.
It's a good documentary. Bobby Kennedy for president. Great documentary.
I heard it's good.
So RFK, JFK, and LBJ.
A lot of...
The trio of great acronyms, or initials. We're sitting in the Oval Office, and LBJ goes, "Oh, Russian President Kennedy, you've got to smooth things over in Texas. I used to be governor of Texas." Is that true? You used to be governor
He
of
was a
Texas?
senator.
Senator from Texas. And there's something afoot there. The Democrats don't like you anymore. You got to go down there. So
Is he doing a Nixon impersonation?
I don't know what LBJ sounds
He had
like.
so much gravel in his throat.
I
that
just
it's like-
assume he sounded like Nixon.
Probably.
So JFK goes, "All right, I go down." That's Australian. I can't do that accent very well, even though.
What, the JFK accent?
Ask not what you
Don't
can
do
do for your country, but what your country can do for you.
You're not
So he said,
invited to my party.
"I'll go down there to Dallas, Texas, and speak to the American public in a drop-top convertible." So.
Yes, Marilyn, it is my birthday.
Ray drop
In a
top.
hot box.
So, after they all sang Bad and Bougie in the office,
Yes, he's a noted Migos fan.
JFK was like, "Okay, let's go to Dallas. We'll do a motorcade, which is like a parade in a car."
Yeah.
And basically, he stands there and he does a model wave, and everyone just loses their crap because
Right.
they go, "Oh my God, it's the president!"
Poop everywhere.
Just poop everywhere. So, we've touched on this in season 1, but that was a long time ago. So we'll go a bit more in depth. The motorcade is going down the street, and the FBI, who is organizing security with the Secret Service, goes, "Hey, this route is really weird. We're kind of going at like a bunch of weird angles to get where we need to go, and we're just taking weird turns." And the Secret Service is like, "Well, there's a lot of windows. We're passing by, every building has a dozen plus windows. So many windows." And the FBI goes, "Oh, is it too many to check?" And the Secret Service goes, "Yeah." So the FBI says, "Okay, don't check them." Interesting
Instead of just
strategy.
don't drive near the windows, right?
Interesting strategy. If I said, "There's $1 million in one of these 300 holes," that's too many holes to check right now. Don't go, "Well, Good luck.
Someone else can have them.
Yeah. You would check at least some of the holes.
Right.
Maybe the holes right near you.
Right.
They thought, well, if we can't check them all, why even bother?
Look, it had been 50 years since someone got
They
shot.
thought no one's going to shoot this very controversial president that everyone loves and would become a political martyr. They were like, okay, whatever, we'll just send it down the thing. And then, a few weeks before Kennedy shows up, the CIA calls the Secret Service, and they're like, "Hey, Secret Service, what's up? It's the CIA." And the Secret Service is like, "Oh, hey, long time no see. What's going on?" And the CIA was like, "What to see now? There's this guy named Lee Harvey Oswald. We think he's like a Soviet spy or something. Like he definitely loves Russia. Like don't trust that guy. He's in Texas." And then Secret Service was like, "Great, thanks." And then they hung up. And they were like, "Hey, FBI, this noted violent Russian supporter Lee Harvey Oswald is in Texas." And FBI was like, "Cool."
Cool story, thanks.
And they were like, JFK will also be in Dallas in a couple days. The FBI was like, "All right, talk to you later." And they didn't do anything about it.
Wow.
So, basically what happens is the motorcade, the car President Kennedy was in, a Lincoln Continental, very mysterious. You want to know what happened? Kennedy was driving a Lincoln car, and Lincoln was shot in Ford Theater. Kennedy and Ford are connected. I know there's actually a way that people connect those, but I never remember how they do it.
There's also, I want to say I read that Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy, and Kennedy had
a secretary named Lincoln.
Also, they both had vice presidents named Johnson.
That's true.
They did.
They were both left-handed.
Yes.
Like 60% of presidents are left-handed.
Really?
They're weird.
Yeah.
Wow, I feel like if people knew that, they would not. That would change dramatically.
Jimmy Carter?
He's left-handed?
I don't know.
He's a pinko.
Perhaps.
What I think is because people who left-handed are so much more naturally angry that they gravitate towards power.
Makes sense. There's like so many doors that just don't work for you. You're gonna be like, ah.
You eventually need to make your own.
Right. Exactly. So I understand now.
So President Kennedy is in this Lincoln Continental entering Dealey Plaza.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the car with himself, Jackie Kennedy. Jackie. Whenever you say Jackie Kennedy, you don't say, "Oh, Jackie Kennedy." You say it like
Jackie Kennedy.
Jackie Kennedy.
Jackie.
So JFK and Jackie
O.
were in the car, and LBJ and LBJ was in a different car. Kennedy was in a car with the governor of Dallas, Connolly, is his name, and his wife, Nellie Connolly, the First Lady of Texas, as the article tends to know, turned around to the president and said, "Mr. President, you can't say Dallas doesn't love you." And Kennedy acknowledged by saying, "No, you certainly can't."
Oh, what a horrible timing for that, Jesus.
Which was his last words.
Really?
Yes. "You certainly can't say that Dallas doesn't love me," as he is about to be shot by a man in Dallas.
But now you can.
Aw, that's sad.
Oh.
So they turn onto this street and into Dealey Plaza, and they pass the Texas School Book Depository. Then about 80% of the witnesses remember hearing 3 shots. We are at the end of certified information. Everything we enter into now is speculatory and unconfirmed.
Did he even die? We don't know.
Please stop. Please.
Welcome to the Twilight Zone.
Oh, Ron Serling did it. Okay.
That is so loud. Okay. So, basically, there are many disputes over how many shots are fired. Literally everything from the point of there are shots fired on is disputed.
Okay.
They'd be like, there were 3 shots, some people think there were 6 shots. People remember hearing as many as 8 shots. What we do know is that they passed the Texas School Book Depository. The Warren Commission, which is the commission created by Elizabeth Warren,
she was on top of that.
right,
She had a
to
plan.
investigate the Kennedy assassination, and the formed specifically for this House Committee on Assassinations, fun committee. According to them, Kennedy was waving to the crowds on his right with his right arm upraised on the side of the limo when a shot entered his, so he's like this. Bad visual because nobody can see this, but he's got his arm on the side and he's waving. He was shot at some point while he was in this plaza. A shot entered his upper back, penetrated his neck, and slightly damaged a spinal vertebrae and the top of his right lung. The bullet exited his throat and nicked the left side of his suit tie knot. Now, the Warren Commission, their official thing, we went over this last year, but that there was 3 bullets, 2 of them missed.
Okay.
One was too early and one hit the car. There was 1 bullet, which just did the aforementioned, which is plausible, 1 bullet hitting you in sort of the top of the neck and coming out your throat. Very bad shot. This bullet then ended up in Governor Connolly's knee.
Oh.
How does
So it went like...
Right. But
you know, that's how a bullet makes? Yeah.
Right, but the argument is that Kennedy had damage to his lung, so the bullet would have to come at a pretty high angle to go through the back of his neck and then out his lungs. And then it would have to curve to hit Governor Connolly in front of him. Listen to last year's episode that we didn't record because it was season 1.
Right.
But we went in more on depth on this bullet theory, but basically it's funky. Now, Governor Connolly survived this shot. President Kennedy did not. But, as the movie JFK analyzes, there is film of this assassination. The Zapruder film.
Yes.
In the film, you see Kennedy do, again, horrible visual because this is not recorded.
Leans back.
Gets like if I punched Tyler in the face right now, your head would jerk back.
Yeah.
In the film, that happens. And then there's like stuff, censored word for it, on the back of the limousine that the First Lady then tries to horribly, like, reconnect.
Right.
But very odd to get shot in the back of the neck and then you lurch backwards.
True.
Strange.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of theories about a second gunman on a grassy knoll nearby the car shooting at the car.
Maybe Woody Harrelson's dad.
Maybe.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. That is a real theory.
That's a real theory.
That was
Let's dive right into it because we've already covered the real theories.
Look it up.
We have.
Woody Harrelson's dad.
Woody Harrelson's dad, you
JFK.
say? Killed JFK?
Yes, that is a real theory.
Charles Harrison?
Yes.
Harrelson. Not Harrison.
Whatever. Charles Harrelson. He was an organized crime figure.
I wasn't making this up.
There is a theory that the mob assassinated Kennedy. My personal theory, if anyone was wondering, is that the CIA hired the mob to kill Kennedy. In September 1980, Harrelson, the dad, surrendered to police after a 6-hour standoff in which he was reportedly high on cocaine. During the standoff, he threatened suicide, stating that he had killed both Judge Wood and President John F. Kennedy.
Oh my god.
Which is a bold move. He is believed to be the tallest of the 3 tramps by many conspiracy theorists. Have you ever heard about the 3 tramps?
I have not.
There's basically like a cop leading like 3 like dudes that all look like scruffy.
Okay. Who were like there the same
and the cop is like, get over here. And people are thinking they're involved, but we don't really know too much about them.
Okay. Is that the same thing? I remember reading about there was a suspicious group of hobos that were clean shaven.
I believe that's them.
Is that them?
Tramps,
okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
People like they're CIA agents chilling out.
And then there's the woman with the umbrella thing. Too.
Yeah, Umbrella Man.
Umbrella Man.
Yeah.
There's Umbrella Man. There's like Babushka Lady.
Yeah, Babushka Lady. Yeah.
Babushka Lady, which is by the way great name.
Every notable person at the Kennedy assassination has turned into a figure of maybe they did it.
Right.
It's like Clue. Like everybody here.
I think it was the Babushka Lady with a baseball bat in the library.
While everyone was distracted by the gunshots, she ran up very quickly and beat him to death with a baseball bat.
I don't know if we still have time, but are you gonna go over?
We got.
Are you gonna go over potential
we got like
attempted
5
assassinations?
Yeah. Let's do a speed run of attempted assassinations with our final 5 minutes. Harrison, you can start us off.
Speed run.
First one, Andrew Jackson. A guy tried to shoot him twice. Pistols misfired both times. Andrew Jackson then beat the man almost to death with a cane, and they had to restrain Andrew Jackson. This was after. I don't know if this was after he was president, but think about it. A guy tried to shoot him twice, they misfired both times, and then he almost beat him to death.
What a psycho, Jesus.
Yes, that's true. William Howard Taft was threatened to be assassinated.
Who tried to? Who? Like, what did Taft do? Like, he was like.
I don't know. I think he was supporting. It was something about Mexico.
Okay.
But it didn't work.
It's just any how our government worked for a long time is just really weird. Because I just looked at the Wikipedia article. It's and they hired 250 private security. No one thinks now that Jimmy Carter's ever gonna have there's the Secret Service, and then 250 mall cops around him just in case.
Right.
It's just weird how our government is how until a fairly short time ago it was just sort of whatever.
Right. Also, realistically, if someone's gonna try to kill Taft, why don't they just get a really tight bathtub and push him into it so he can't get out of it this time?
There is rumors, which we don't have time for all of this, that Warren G. Harding's death was an assassination.
Oh, by his wife.
By his wife.
I had not heard that.
There's a rumor that, it's not a rumor, but Theodore Roosevelt was shot while he was running for president after he had already been president, and then he continued on with a speech with famous, "It'll take more than a bullet to stop a bull moose."
Because I am Teddy Roosevelt.
Because I guess I started the bull moose party. Herbert Hoover.
Herbert Hoover?
Someone planned to blow up his train.
Oh my god.
And apparently Herbert Hoover, when told about it, when he read about it in the newspaper, tore the front page off and said, "I'll give this to my wife. She'll find it hilarious."
I respect that, actually.
And of course, this runs into a time paradox for us here at Radio Ryan, but in an alternate in an alternate reality where Ronald Reagan wins last night's election, he also is attempted to be assassinated and is shot, and has the all-time Reagan quote when he's on the operating table and goes, "Well, I hope you all are Republicans in here." And the surgeon laughed and said, "We're all Republicans today, sir." And then Reagan laughed and then was really mean to a lot of black people for a long time.
True.
Yeah.
He actually got a head start on that before he even got shot. So.
Any final thoughts on our lovely topic today on presidential assassinations?
Good when it didn't work. Bad when it did.
Yeah, I also will say that I'm kind of shocked that there are presidents who have not even been attempted.
Right.
I
that
assume
kind
at
of
least
makes
every
you
president
feel
would have had at least one.
nobody tried to kill James K. Polk.
Right.
He's like, come on,
nobody tried to kill Eisenhower. I think.
Well, nobody tried to kill Eisenhower because they were scared of him.
Right. Oh yeah.
He was a
badass. Hunt them down. Yeah. But
he's like, I'll get you. I don't know what Eisenhower sounds like.
I'll get you son of a gun.
Also, before we head into our music break, I'd like to apologize to anyone who tuned in as soon as we started 1999 when there was that weird, "I'm not here to hurt you" opening.
I was scared. I'm in the studio.
I had no idea that was part of 1999.
I assume it was like a serial killer's diary or something. I'm scared.
Anyways, we'll jump into music breaks until about 9 o'clock. When we come back, our first segments ever as a podcast. Ooh. I hope you enjoy them, and I hope we do them correctly.
Yeah.
I love you.
The American dream endures. We must once again have full faith in our country and in one another. I believe America can be better we can be even stronger than before. Let our recent mistakes bring a resurgent commitment to the basic principles of our nation. For we know that if we despise our own government, we have no future.
1, 2, 3, bread.
Welcome back, folks, to Radio Ryan segments. Short little fun little bits that we'll do every week that are unrelated to tonight's episode. Tyler?
Yes.
I think you need to know something.
What do I need to know?
Florida man breaks into home, cooks meal, tells owner, go back to sleep. The 19-year-old Marine was drunk at the time, deputies said. This is our first segment of the night. Florida man.
Florida man. So can I explain how my familiarity with Florida man?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so besides knowing all the stories about Florida man does this, Florida man does that, there's an episode of the, by the way, brilliant TV show named Atlanta, which I'll recommend you watch. And there's a character who mentions that his parents are traveling to Florida, so his friend says, just make sure you tell him to watch out for Florida man. And then he says, what's Florida man? And so, basically, within the show, Florida man is like a folk legend, sort of. It's just one guy doing all this stuff. So he says, think of him as an alt-right Johnny Appleseed. That's why headlines always say Florida man. And then Florida man steals a car to get fast food. Florida man murders a flamingo. And they show like a montage of him doing all that stuff. It's just the same guy. So it's pretty fun. Anyways, Florida man.
This one is a wholesome one. Well, not wholesome, it's just interesting. Florida man sells fully functioning F-16 jet fighter online for only $8.5 million.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, big question. How did he get an F-16?
You can buy them from the military.
He bought it from somebody, because he has one.
I know that person.
Cool.
He probably like found
Interrupting our show to wave at bystanders? What?
I know what you said.
Yeah, Jack.
He probably like found it in his drawer or something.
Yeah. Oh, I still got one of these jets lying around.
I assume all the drawers in Florida are like never ending. Like that just that's how weird people are.
You know, as a kid, when your mom's like, "Go get the drunk drawer scissors."
Yeah.
And there's
The
like
drunk drawer?
junk drawer.
If you're drunk and you go to the junk drawer to get your scissors, you're gonna have a bad time.
You're gonna have a bad time.
Okay.
Yeah, you can buy tanks for cheap.
I
They're
guess.
non-military.
What is cheap for a tank?
Like 10,000. They're non-militarized, but you just need to get a new barrel.
Moving forward, Florida man arrested after telling a playground full of kids where babies come from.
You can get arrested for that?
You sure can.
Why?
Because I'll show you the man's picture in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, he's just a forehead. Oh.
Oh.
Describe to our viewers what he looks like.
He has many face tattoos.
Darth Maul, less
Yeah.
cool.
Cool beard though.
A Florida man was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct, is what they tell you.
Yeah.
After climbing on top of a playground full of children, I like how they say climbing on top of a playground full of children.
Yeah.
Like he climbed on top of the kids.
He's just shoving kids off.
Hey! Yelling about where babies come from.
Baby.
Climbed to the top. A police officer said Otis Dwayne Ryan, aged 30.
Hey, Ryan.
Way too young to be doing that. Climbed to the top of a playground equipment at a park in Clearwater, Florida, Sunday
You cannot
afternoon.
say that word.
What?
You cannot say the
not
word
gonna say the
further
word.
in the article.
He's not gonna say the word.
Okay, I'm not gonna.
Okay.
Jeez, come on. And began shouting at the children, telling them babies come out of women, according to court documents. He then yelled some more obscene details. At that time, parents were rushing to the area to remove their children. He caused multiple disturbances in the area before. Earlier that day, Ryan walked through a nearby pier yelling at tourists and making inappropriate comments about women's clothing and their physical attributes. That's what you get.
That's what you
That
get when you're
man
from
needs
there.
help, and to stop telling kids where babies come from. Florida man arrested.
Hey, he said you can't say Florida. Come on.
Sorry.
God.
But this Florida man
The swear jar.
arrested after he allegedly gave girlfriend a wet willy.
My favorite part of that headline is after wet willy, affidavit says. Like just the full legal term.
A local sheriff's deputy was called to the home of 47-year-old Joseph Surecki in mid-August. The man's girlfriend claimed she found Surecki drunk on the living room floor after she had returned home from work. He went with his girlfriend and her daughter to a different person's home. He continued to drink and be belligerent. He allegedly grabbed his girlfriend's hand, pulled her arm and continued by giving her a wet willy, sticking his finger in her ear. I like how they explain what a wet willy is. The daughter, whose identity is unclear at the time, confirmed her mother's account. He was arrested on a battery charge.
You want to try a game with this, actually?
Sure.
I have an idea. So, how about we come up with something we think a Florida man has done, and then look up if there is an actual article saying that a Florida man has been arrested for that.
Yeah, we have one more. This one is a reversal. Florida man gets $37,500 after officer thought donut glaze was meth. A Florida man who was arrested in 2015 after police mistook donut glaze in his car for meth has received a $37,500 statement.
Wow.
Dan Rushing, who is 65 years old, was arrested in December 2015 during a traffic stop when Corporal Shelby Riggs Hopkins, the most pretentious police officer, saw flakes of glaze on his car's floorboard and thought they were pieces of crystal meth. A series of roadside tests came back positive for the illegal substance.
Oh! What?
A different test later proved the substance was sugar from the Krispy Kreme donuts he had eaten.
Why was it positive? What?
I guess those donuts are
Because
good.
that's illegal. They're so sweet and tasty, you can't have those. Radio Ryan is brought to you by Krispy Kreme.
Also, you just know somebody in Florida read that article and he's like, oh, sweet, I can put meth on my donuts now.
Florida man
Radio-
arrested.
Radio Ryan.
Force.
Can I just take this time to shout out my family who is listening, and also my friend Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
I told him I would shout him out.
Hi, Zeiberg family.
Hey there.
Hello. You are listening, and I question why.
Hope you liked that part about the president's being assassinated.
They thought it was interesting. They asked why you were talking like a Mark Wahlberger, but
Well, I was doing President John F. Kennedy.
close enough.
Okay, I have one. Ready?
Uh-huh.
How about arrested for slapping a fish?
Florida man arrested for slapping
A fish. That has to be something, right?
a fish.
Show me this
Hold on a
fish
moment.
getting slapped. Where is it?
Florida man slapped with big mouth Billy Bass singing fish.
Close.
There's a lot of articles about people being slapped with fish,
But not the fish themselves.
not the fish themselves.
Okay.
I have a follow-up game. Transitioning to our next segment. Who would win? This week starring the Florida Man.
Okay.
Who would win if we had a battle royale of the Florida Man we just went over?
Okay.
So we have man who reveals where babies come from.
Mm-hmm.
Man who had Krispy Kreme glaze that
Krispy
is
Kreme.
easily mistaken for crystal meth, apparently.
Krispy Kreme.
And then the other one who... What did he do?
He was
Oh, he
hit
gave
by-
his girlfriend a wet willy, right?
Yes.
I think Krispy Kreme wins because that man just beat a drug charge, and that's something to like. Not a lot of people do that, so that's something to be excited about. So he's really excited and just on.
But what is it? What capability does that give him in a fight?
Donut rage. He's
I-
honestly, apparently it's as good as meth, but not as.
We
healthy.
also have Florida Man breaking into home, cooking meal, and telling the owner to go back to sleep. And did I read that one?
You read it at the beginning and just like forgot about it.
Oh yeah. And the Florida Man who sells fully functioning F-16 jet online. I would
Well,
give
I
it to
think
the
that
guy
happens.
with the F-16. Even if he doesn't own the F-16 during the fight, if he can procure one, there's no telling where his power ends.
See, my fighter would definitely be the guy who went to the playground and told kids where babies come from.
Mhm.
You would tell that man does
He's
not,
got forbidden knowledge.
He does not fear God.
Yes.
He is willing to tell the truth even if it means him being murdered. So
Yes.
that is a dangerous combination for a fight.
Harrison, what was your one?
I think I would switch mine to the F-16.
Yeah.
But also,
That guy's tense.
that guy's intense. But yeah, he would. Is that our only who would win
For tonight, yes.
for tonight? Oh, next time should be
That'll be a
out
recurring
of
segment.
almost presidents who would win in a fight.
Oh, why don't we follow it up with out of all the presidents that have been assassinated?
Who would win in a fight?
Yeah.
Lincoln.
Lincoln is your
He's a
guy.
wrestler.
Every time we bring up
If I
president
had to
fighting,
pick, if I had to pick,
which
people
is a
who are-
lot.
If I had to pick up who were almost presidents who would win in a fight, my boy Mike Dukakis. I think he would
So
win in a fight.
define almost like were just anyone who's been a candidate or someone who was like
One of
God.
the
The Rock.
One of the two party candidates.
Oh, okay, that's different.
It's
okay,
limited.
so nominees.
Nominees. Yeah, The Rock probably.
The Rock. My boy Mike Dukakis. He's scrappy.
I would take Lincoln in the assassination battle royale. Kennedy was Probably,
He was handsome but weak.
yes.
Physical ailments.
What's what they called me in high school.
My mom told me to tell you, you're no Kennedy, which is mean.
Well, I am handsome and weak.
That is true. Well, the weak part at least.
Right. I was hoping when
Sorry, go ahead.
What? Oh, for who were almost
Yeah,
president.
you thought I just said John
Yeah,
Kerry with no
I
context?
really thought you did. No, I was hoping when I said that's what they called me in high school, someone said, what, handsome and weak? And I would say, no, physical ailments. Moving forward, after John Kerry,
John Kerry.
we have our next segment, which is
You're
called
not a good
Change My
president.
Mind, which is where one of us presents an opinion, and the others must do their best to change their mind if they feel differently. Here's my
Oh.
opinion. Thin pizza sucks.
So
I
even if
sort
we
of-
agree with you, we have to change our mind.
No, if you agree with me, we can just tell.
Oh, I agree
We
with
can just
you.
I
talk
sort
about.
of agree with. I'm not a New York slice.
Yeah, I'm not
a
deep-
huge fan of that. I'm not a deep dish fan.
I'm not a deep dish fan.
I like some dough.
I like some dough. Yeah.
Thin pizza reflects the backbones of those who eat it. It's
Every
flimsy and
Pizza-y.
Every time you go to a restaurant and they have a menu section that's like pizza, they either have Chicago deep dish, which is too much, or they have this flaky, burnt, thin margarita pizza.
there's no Domino's is the only real in between, in my opinion. They know the sauce.
You're a Domino's guy.
I love Domino's. They know. Okay, listen.
I'm a Papa John man.
Listen.
For the record,
They know how to
Tyler is standing up in the
put.
studio.
They know how to divvy up their sauce ratio, which means that they know that the sauce itself has to be thick, but the pizza itself can't be so thick that it's overwhelming. Like
Also-
How many C's?
how many
thick,
what?
thick with how many C's?
Oh, at least like 5. Like
That's
thick.
very thick.
That's pretty thick.
But it's not
I
too
like
thick.
I like Domino's crust. Very soft,
The crust, yeah.
garlicky.
The crust is like an edible pillow. Like,
Right.
it's like you could lay down on
Ooh, we still have garlic. We still have Domino's pizza in our fridge in the dorm.
it.
That's such a. That's the
Oh,
only
wow.
reason I'm
Radio
satisfied.
Ryan will be cutting early
Yeah.
today.
Radio Ryan is a fulfilling podcast, not because I get to have fun with friends and project great humor on the airwaves. It's that I get to have amazing realizations, like I still have leftover pizza in my fridge.
This show is it's like a memento type thing
Right,
where you have to do the
yeah.
show to remember what's in his
Just if anyone says what's Radio Ryan like, just say Memento.
fridge. Right.
And finally, unless we add some more segments, our fourth segment for the night, because we don't have to use up the whole half an hour. It's just there in case we need it all. It's called Go Listen to This, or Go Watch This, where somebody will bring a great recommendation to the table. This week, obviously, none of you guys are prepared, so I'm just bringing my own. But in the coming weeks, other people will have it. Mine is Go Listen to This. It is what I believe is a wonderful album called The Very Best of Daryl Hall and John Oates. Just banger after banger on one album. Sometimes you go to an artist, like if you're gonna listen to the Beatles, just listen to the Beatles. Just listen to their albums. If you're gonna listen to Led Zeppelin, just listen to the albums. Well, not gonna lie, Hall & Oates put out a bit of filler. Everything after 1987, I don't really need it. Live from Daryl's house? Sure. Live from John Oates' house?
I had to specify.
Right. They'd have to. You can't say live from John's house.
John Oates definitely has a condo. He doesn't have a house.
John Oates, underrated guy.
Yes.
He's an all-time underrated.
Yes. He's the Garfunkel of that group.
Yes.
Do not get me started on this.
Radio Ryan's recurring theme of Art Garfunkel sucks.
I have a recommendation, by the way.
Yeah, I need to finish gloating.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah, never interrupt me during the middle of one of these. You asshole.
Hey, you can't say that word.
Yes, I can. You can say it on Friends.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can. They said bitch on Friends.
Stop saying
They
words.
said it on Friends.
They did not say the first thing on Friends. It
Don't
never on
say
cable
it.
television.
Yeah, but they said the B word on Friends.
Well, you're no Joey.
I am Chandler, though.
What?
We're all Chandler tonight.
What a Ross thing for you to say.
Yeah, that's... Oh, Harrison's a total Ross. You're the Rossiest Ross I've ever Rossed.
You're not Chandler.
I'm not Chandler.
I don't even know who the hell I am. I don't even watch a lot of Friends.
Joey.
No, we all like
Friends
to
is a bad
think...
show.
we all like to think we're Chandler, but everybody's Ross. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the very best of Daryl Hall and John Oates, bangers. Rich Girl, Kiss on My List, Sarah Smile, You Make My Dreams Come True,
Rich Girl.
Man Eater. I already said Rich Girl.
Oh, okay. Well, Rich Girl again.
I can't go for that.
I can't go for that.
The one where John Oates sings for a couple minutes, and you're like, what the hell?
I don't know that one.
Yeah, I think it's.
Is it just by Oates?
No, I think it's You've Lost That Love and Feeling.
By Oates?
Or maybe they had a guest singer that. I don't know. Hold on. We only want to present you the facts.
Doing
here.
official research.
So we're gonna go on.
Oh, it was in Top Gun?
What?
It said that the song was in Top Gun, apparently.
I mean, maybe. Hall and Oates version.
Oh.
The B-side is Diddy Doo-Wop.
Diddy Doo-Wop.
Diddy Doo-Wop.
I
P.
guess
Diddy
it-
collaborating
I guess-
with John Oates was
I
one of the
really
great.
guess they did put out a lot of filler.
They did. Yeah. Oates is prominent on that song.
And Phil
Right.
Spector wrote it. Phil Spector, interesting man.
Phil
He
Spector,
did kill somebody.
horrible
Right.
human being. He murdered someone.
He did. Al Pacino played him in a TV
Al
movie.
Pacino. Moving forward, Tyler had a recommendation.
I
Go
can
listen to
recommend
this, Tyler.
So, this is actually a movie, and it has not come out yet, but
go
I am
watch
so
this.
excited for it that I want everybody to see it, including myself. And it's called The Lighthouse.
Yes.
And I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but it stars Robert Pattinson and
Batman.
Willem Dafoe.
Batman
Yes,
and Green Goblin.
Batman and Green Goblin. And basically, it's like in the 1800s, it's these two lighthouse keepers basically going insane inside of a lighthouse. And I've heard it's like The Odd Couple if both of them were Jack Nicholson's character in The Shining. And which sounds amazing, by the way. And I heard that Robert Pattinson like fist fights a seagull in it. And okay, so you know that thing that
Seagulls, all-time jerks.
oh,
It's
easily.
like John Wilkes Booth,
A
Seagulls.
seagull attacked me over the summer.
Oh my God. Moving forward.
That is terrifying. But you know that thing trailers do sometime where like there will be an alarm that goes off in a trailer, so it'll be like and then like it edits to that.
Yeah.
So this trailer has that, but it's not an alarm. It's Willem Dafoe. This is not a joke, by the way. It's Willem Dafoe saying, "Why'd you spill your beans?" And it just repeats over and over in the trailer, and it's like sometimes I just listen to it on loop to like calm myself down.
Why'd you spill your
beans? And I could honestly, the moment I hear that in the theater, I'm gonna lose it. I'm just gonna start sprinting around screaming. So I can't wait to see that, and I can't wait to see somebody spill their beans. So go watch that
Can I have
movie.
a recommendation?
Yeah, sure.
So, there's one movie that looks cool that's coming out. Which I don't know if I should recommend it or if it's good.
Okay.
I think Timothy Chalamet is in it.
Is it The King?
Yeah.
That looks cool.
That looks cool.
Ugh.
That's Shakespeare
You don't like
plays,
Timothy
which I like. I like it because it's Shakespeare plays.
Timothy.
I'm not a huge Timothy Chalamet fan.
Yeah,
I am.
I'm not a
anti him.
Shalamite. I don't think so.
I
But
consider
also,
me a Chalamet.
Who's listening tonight? Like, is it your fam? Like, who's listening from your
I
side?
don't know.
Did you tell anyone this is happening?
I don't know.
Yeah, what? I feel like you know what
Let's say 11.
11?
Yeah.
Watch Kim's Convenience. Good show.
Kim's
Netflix.
Convenience.
Kim's
Yeah.
Convenience.
It's about a Korean-Canadian family.
There's shows on Netflix that exist
Go watch
that
it.
I've.
Let
Oh,
him in.
We have guests in the studio.
We do.
Show's over. Get out of here.
Kim's Convenience. Kim's
There's
Convenience. Good show. Go
there's
watch
shows on Netflix I guess have been on forever. Grace and Frankie apparently.
Awesome show.
I've never seen that, but
It's
I've heard
been
of
on
it.
Netflix
It's a
for
good
like
show.
30 years.
It's a good show.
Well,
Why'd you spill your beans?
why did you? That's our show.
I'm gonna play you that after this so you can experience that.
We're ending early here because we did our segments and we extended a little bit.
Oh,
Hope
hey.
you enjoyed tonight's discussion of presidential assassinations and beans.
And beans. Willem Dafoe saying beans.
Any comment? Any parting comments?
Good show. Great show.
Yeah,
Listen to my show next, whenever that's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Wednesday.
Quick plug. Harrison's radio show returns on Wednesday.
Wednesday,
Yes.
I'm thinking Wednesday, maybe at 6.
Wednesday at 6. What's it
See,
called?
we're Your Parents' Music.
Your Parents'
I was
Music.
thinking about doing a second show. Not sure if that's gonna work out,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
Tyler, your show, Streets Ahead Radio.
Yeah, I actually have not set up a day and time for that yet, but the next time that I do know, which I assume will be by next episode that we do this, I will be happy to plug it. But I am excited to do that this semester.
Great. Go
Yeah.
listen to their shows. Listen to our show, Radio Ryan, a WCCS podcast only on wccs.tk. Monday nights at 8 o'clock. Tell your friends, tell your parents, tell that girl you don't really talk to anymore, but you kind of wish you always hold her in your heart. Go tell her about Radio Ryan. Maybe she'll come back.
You don't know that.
That's our show. Thanks for
Aw,
listening.
Tyler.